Greetings, 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 and salutations, one and all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Community and Finance Night.
Because you are the glue that holds me down.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and every one of you. Those locked in on Tune in Radio. On the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. Big ups to those who are locked in on One Harmony Radio from across the pond. Top of the morning to you guys in the UK. Big ups to those on NIE Radio out of New Jersey. Much love, Motivator. The Motivator, I truly appreciate, love you, bro. Want to say big up to those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Mr. Lindsay, you better hurry up and get better, you know. This hospital thing with you, you know. I understand it's just to run some tests, but if something wasn't going on, you wouldn't be trying to run some tests, right? I want to say big up to those who are hailing out of New York on Island Worldwide, exhibiting the power of music. Blessed Earth Day to Mr. Sutherland, sir. Wishing you many more trips around the sun. Want to say big up to China Nicole. Much love to you, sis. Big ups to those who are hailing out of Texas, WGLRO, Hollywood Radio, Dusic Media Groups. Truly appreciate love you guys over there in the Lone Star State. Donnie, I do believe you're the last of a dying breed. You can catch Donnie Walker on the morning show. Yep, the Donnie Walker morning show. On WGLRO, it's a people station where they take you from the sheets to the streets. Big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com. Much love to you guys over there. Big ups to those who are locked in on Facebook Live. Truly appreciate love you. It's only a temporary thing, you know. That's a segment. So I don't want you getting too comfortable, you guys, on Facebook Live. But I do want you to share. Share with your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Share with everybody. Big ups to those who are locked in right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele, kevinsteele.com. So glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. And we're holding on to each and every one of you.
Feel the pressure rising up inside me. I'm holding on for you. Don't keep me waiting.
On the line,
Tension rising. You are my focus.
I have my family member from across the way.
Feel this way, feel this way, feel this way. Yeah, my focus.
My attorney. My estranged. I don't even know what to call her.
Up inside me.
Mother of my fictitious, what, 1.5 kids? Or is it 2.5? How we go? Ladies and gentlemen, in the background, the sound of Destra, the track called Family.
Holding on for you.
Thank you, Destra. But right now, on air with me, the one and only attorney Tasha Simmonds.
Good evening.
How are you, Tasha?
You want the real answer or the?
Listen, you're not allowed, counselor. Counselor, come on now.
I'm in good spirits. I am just.
That's right
I'm
there.
ready for what
That's
comes
right
after
there.
this. I'm ready to go to bed. But DJ Kevin Steele is nothing I'd rather do but hang out with you.
Hey, you should
Before I
arrive in
hit the hay.
tonight, boy. Let me tell you. And you still didn't bring the little guitar.
No, I have her right here. I didn't even know you remembered. I forgot we even talked about it. She just happened to be sitting here.
Look at the, no. Bring her out again. Bring her out once more so that people can see. You know,
Yeah,
show
she's
her
always
off.
sitting around somewhere. Is that my cousin? My cousin's here. Hey, cousin Sharon.
Hey, cuz. Yeah, man, it's her. One and only.
One and only. You know, it's such an appropriate song you started with tonight. I'm here. You're basically DJing my office party because I'm home. I work from home now, so this is my office and I'm partying.
Listen, we need to have an official office party for you, you know, so
Oh,
don't
this is
try
official,
to
man. I got
piggyback.
my elves hat,
I
my Santa hat.
notice. And people are wondering, wait, what is going on? They're looking at you. Here it is. October isn't done yet, and you are wearing a Santa hat. And they're like, wait, what is going on here?
I'm not gonna see my Stupat family for a while, so I'm just celebrating all the things. I have the Thanksgiving cup here,
That's right. That's right.
and I have the I have the Christmas hat. So we're good.
I love it.
But I wanted to actually plug something, DJ Kev. I
Yes.
forgot to ask you beforehand. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But this is a venture by a member of my family. My sister wrote a book by
Okay.
Sandra Simmonds. You might have seen her on Facebook or Instagram as your favorite your favorite realtor. That's Sandra Simmonds.
Yes,
She wrote this book, and I think it's backward.
No,
I don't know how it's showing on the camera.
No, it's showing right.
But
Let me go ahead and
is it
put you
okay?
up in full.
But it's called I Have a
Show it up
Testimony.
again.
My God is Real. My sister is a phenomenal woman. She's been through so much, and she's just one of those people. You know how people say you don't look like what you've been through? She's one of those. So she just chronicles the different things she's been through to get to where she is today. You know, phenomenal woman, successful real estate broker, mother, and just all around awesome person. So it's not a long read, and it's not a hard. I didn't know she was so funny.
Isn't she
So
your sister?
definitely support.
I
I'll put the
don't
link on
understand.
my,
How could you
my
not
Facebook
know?
page.
How could you not know? She's your sister. She's been around what? Just about all y'all's lives.
No, we're all
Yeah,
listen.
yeah.
We're all funny, but I didn't know she was this funny. Period. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even listen. I know one of us, at least one of us in the family, would write a book. I didn't know it would be her. She would tell you the same thing. She would never think. She is like, I can't believe I'm writing all these books. But it's published by Trilogy, which is a subsidiary of TBN.
Okay.
So if you go to their website, you should see it there. But I'm also going to post a link on my Facebook just so you guys can support.
Awesome. Yeah. I don't mind you putting that plug in. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to you, Sandra.
Well, I gotta have her on here next year.
Okay. Hey, listen,
Yeah,
it's your segment. You know, I just facilitate it.
I'm bringing the family next year, DJ Kevin.
Well, let's go. Let's go. You know, you've used up a few phone friends, so you know,
Right, so
family
time to phone
members
some family now,
also.
right?
Yeah, but they fall in that category too. So bring them on in.
Yeah, cool, cool.
So
So on
tonight
the
we're
agenda
doing
tonight,
a year in review. We already
a year
cleared a
in
year.
review.
We cleared a year.
Can you believe?
Wow. And yeah, some people might be saying, but no, it's not yet. Well, here's the thing. The fourth Monday in November will not be having that week, that Thanksgiving week, will not be having any night shift broadcasts. I'll be with my family out of town. I'll be spending some time with my big sister. The first time in about 20 years, in almost 20 years, that we're spending some time together. So
Wow.
I'll be out that whole week. So there won't be any night shift that fourth week of November. So there is the fifth week of November, however. But, you know, because November has 5 Mondays.
That is true.
But we're not too sure what's happening for that Monday yet. And then
Right.
the fourth Monday after that is basically Christmas Day celebrated on that Monday, since Christmas Day falls
Right.
on the
It'll be
weekend.
observed. That's the business day where it'll be observed.
You know, so whereas there will be a night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, there won't be a family law broadcast on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, per se. Not with
Right.
Tasha anyway. She'll be out celebrating still. Yeah. Hence, she started the celebrations early. You know, notice the Santa hat.
We
She
celebrate
started the
tonight.
celebrations early.
See, I got my cup.
So let's take this walk down 2021 memory lane.
All right, you.
I don't even remember what we started 2021 with talking about. I know our kids fell in there somewhere.
Wait, I know we didn't get past 1.5 children.
It was one and a
So-
half. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the
So
1.5.
we need to name them tonight, okay?
Oh, Lord.
So what a full one name and what a half one name.
Okay, so Kevin and Tasha.
Kasha. Kasha.
Okay, so
Listen,
that's a girl.
That sound. Listen, Kasha sound like she's stay in trouble.
Right, so that's a girl. And so we have to have a pair, boy and girl. So the boy is gonna be
Tevin.
okay. So it's Tevin and Kasha, not to be mistaken for Kesha. It's Kasha.
Kasha.
She's the one that cost us a whole lot of money. Hence, she's living up to her name.
You understand?
Well, she's the one that's costing me a whole lot of money because her mother is the family law attorney. So she's the one that's costing me a whole lot of money. All right. So take
Alright.
us back through 2021 family law.
All right. So January was just our introduction, right?
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you bust my secret last time we were here. Was it you or was it Dr. Tasha? So for those of you who don't know, my name is Tasha Simmonds. I'm a Florida licensed family law attorney and Supreme Court certified family law mediator. And yeah, whoop whoop, still celebrated that.
And an excellent one.
And you know, I've been practicing for 12 years in the state of Florida. I do other areas, but family is the area that I concentrate on when I come on the show because I want the community to be informed. I want moms, I want dads to be informed of their rights and just try to demystify this whole court system thing if possible. Okay, so next year, we want you guys to be in the stew pot. We want you to call in. We want you to have your questions. We want you to come to court.
Well, they can call in tonight too. For we do
Oh,
take
yeah?
kind words and toss it. You can toss in a simple
Bring it
question here
on.
or
I'm
there.
ready.
So yeah. You can go ahead and call us in 773-789 stew 773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. Go ahead, hit us up. Of course, the stew
Yeah.
pot is available. For those of you that are wondering what's the stew pot, it's on kevinstew.com. It's what others call a chat room. But because of fancy, it's the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. I want to say big ups to 1724 already locked in the stew pot. Much love to you. Those of you on Facebook Live, use a link that is pinned in the comment section. Come on over. You don't need to register. You don't need to give up your firstborn. You don't need to offer a spleen. Nothing like that. No blood sacrifice is needed here. So come on over, jump right in, be a part of it. Back to you, Tasha.
Alrighty. So, yeah, when I am not practicing law and working and listening to clients and going to court hearings and depositions and whatnot, I am writing songs. I'm also a songwriter, and my first single from now on will be available on all digital streaming platforms tomorrow, as far as I know.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of
Lord
the
have mercy.
reasons why she is the estranged, you can fill in the blank, is because of things like this. Here
Don't
it
estrange
is.
me.
Here it is. She has a single coming out, becoming available tomorrow. And guess who doesn't have it? You all guess.
Oh,
You all
wow.
guess.
Wow.
This is why Kasha and Tevin
Tasha and Tevin.
have to be bouncing back and forth between two homes
I
for
don't know him
reasons
good.
like this. But
It
for
was
some
no
reason, the courts don't
DJ
see.
Kevin.
Yeah, yes,
DJ
ma'am.
Kevin.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't announce or post it anywhere. Here is the first place I'm even mentioning it to the world.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So
So that is supposed to make it better.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Announce it to the world. Who's gonna play it?
I didn't announce it nowhere or post it anywhere. It's
Who's
here.
going to play it? Who's going to play it?
I didn't give it to no DJs yet. You would be the first DJ to have it. It's just gonna be on Spotify and Apple and all the things.
This right here. Marlon, I know you feel my pain. And
Oh my goodness.
I know you're in my corner. Thank you, Marlon. Big ups to Marlon Borrell, General Manager of Reggae Global Radio, host of Real Rockers. You can catch Marlon on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern on Reggae Global Radio and several other platforms. Marlon, you won't be playing it either. Just so that you know.
Wow.
Tasha Simmonds has not given me the new single. As a result, I cannot give you the new single. So,
Oh my goodness.
however, it's available on all digital platforms tomorrow, October 26th.
Bad
Go
Tasha.
on.
Bad mommy.
Go on.
Well, that is enough about me. That was what we talked about in January. Just an introduction to myself, and basically, like I said, I just want the community to be informed. So here we are. And then you have the program. Hold on, let me go here so I can see the whole year in full.
Okay. Let me see if I can find some of them. There was that. There was child support.
I don't know if we jumped right into child support in February.
I think we did. I'm looking back now. We jumped right into it in February. Yes, we did.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
In
That makes
January,
sense,
we did the
because I,
intro.
I like to get into child support. That's where I get all the questions.
Right.
Because, even if your case is not a divorce, it can involve children. It could just be a custody case where there's no divorce and no property.
Right.
Office party. So, and so these are the takeaways. I should quiz you.
Okay,
I
so let's
should
go with the
quiz you.
takeaways and we do the quiz at the end.
Okay. No, it's an open book quiz. You want an open book quiz.
Those are the best
So
ever.
okay, I'm gonna give you one pre-quiz question.
Okay.
Do you get a credit in the child support calculation for buying Kasha's shoes
For buying her
or buying
shoes.
Tevin's shoes?
No.
Very
Who
good.
who who gets that? Who people did people actually ask questions like those?
Are you kidding me?
I-
DJ, I have been bathed in receipts
oh
for
Lord.
sneakers and formula and diapers and clothing. And the court is like, no, that is not child support. Not in family court. Maybe in dependency court, they'll say, okay, it's in kind child support, just so they show the parents' mentality that they want to support the child. But in family court, as far as the child support calculation, no, there's no credit for clothing and feeding your own child.
Okay.
So let's go back over the bullet points of what does go into the child support calculation. Yay!
Okay, cool. Y'all grab your notebooks if you missed it. This was the February broadcast that we did where we talked extensively about child support cases and actually throughout the year we tossed in a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah,
But
we did.
February was actually titled child support. So go ahead. What are some of these bullet points?
All right. So what is included in the calculation? Number one, the court looks at these costs. Okay, who is paying what for health insurance premiums? Okay, and it's not all the money that's coming out of your check for health insurance. It's the amount that comes out for the child or what you're paying for the child. So if you're paying like a lump that covers you and the whole family, or maybe you and your child and other children from another relationship where you're not against that parent in court, the court only wants to know what's coming out for the children that's in that case. Okay? So number one, health insurance premiums. Number two, out-of-pocket health insurance costs. I'm going to tell you, even though it's listed in the statute and a lot of people like to, name it as one of the costs the court looks at, I see in practice that it really does not get put in unless it's something that actually happens every month. Like the child has a special expense, like maybe going to the orthodontist every month. And so that's recurring, right? But not all out-of-pocket costs are monthly. And so there's usually just going to be language that says whatever other costs besides the health insurance premiums, the parties are going to split it 50-50, 60-40, 30-70, whatever. However the incomes match up to each other, usually that's how that's going to be split, right? But that is something to look at. So if there is a calculable out-of-pocket medical costs that can reliably be put into the calculation, then that's going to be the next thing they look at. And finally, as far as costs, is the cost of child care. So it could be daycare or aftercare, right? Not tuition for private school. Hello? Hello? Not tuition. I have to deliver that bad news several times a month. Okay. Now, if you have it in the agreement that, okay, this is going to be child support for us and you have to pay it every month, but, tuition is not a part of it. So if it's daycare, then there you go.
Right.
You get a credit if you're paying that every month, or the amount of it that you're paying. If you all split the cost, and you get a credit for the amount you're paying, and I get a credit for the amount I'm paying.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then the final thing they look at is not a cost. It's the time sharing schedule, right? So in Florida, if there is no court order with a time sharing schedule, then presumptively mom has 100% time sharing, right? So we don't call it custody, at least in court anymore. In the streets or in barbershops, whatever, we still use the word custody. But
I still have issues
but now,
with that, okay.
Florida has switched over to the idea of time sharing.
Yes.
So instead of one parent being the primary residential parent and stuff like that, and the other parent having visitation, this parent has 80% overnights and that parent has 20%. So it's just percentages now, right? So
Right.
50-50 custody is basically 50% overnights, 182 overnights for the year to one parent and 183 to the other.
Okay.
That little one night is not going to drastically affect the child support calculation, I assure you. What does affect the child support calculation, right? Because I have a lot of people, namely dads, that come to me because they're told, listen, I want to support my child, but I just don't want to get taken to the cleaners, because they know the state
Right.
can reach into your paychecks and your bank account. And even if they do that, I want what they're reaching for to be fair to me, right?
Right.
So somebody told me if I get 50-50 custody, I won't have to pay no child support, or it won't be so bad, which is half of a myth, right? You start to see the child support adjust when you have 20% overnights. 20%. That's 72 overnights for the year.
It starts to
That's
adjust.
when you see, right, that's when you see changes. Now, of course, the more overnights you have, the more of a change you're going to see. But you don't need 50-50 to not get taken to the cleaners. You just
Right.
you need 80-20.
Which
Okay.
is part of this has always been a part of the struggle that parents have. Whereas one would be fighting for more time, albeit you would think that it would be to make sure that they get at least close to equal time with the children. Some of them is just so that you can knock off something off the child support.
And let me tell you something. The court doesn't care. The court is not going to sit and really mind your motivation for it, because everything comes down to what? The best interest of the children.
Right.
When I represent dad, I tell dad, listen, I understand why you want 50-50. I am not judging you, right? But what we cannot do is go into court and say, Your Honor, I want 50-50. That is not a schedule.
Right.
That is a ratio. That is a number.
Right. Right.
Okay, what the judge is looking for, no matter what you're asking for, what the judge is looking for, how does this serve your child's or your children's best interest? Is this better for them? Are they going to do better in school? Are they going to benefit with their extracurriculars or amongst their friends and all these different things? How is it going to affect Tevin and Kasha's life?
Right.
Right? But if you just come here and say 50-50, you don't even say, week on, week off, or, 2-2-3, or a different type these days as opposed to that days, you just plop down and say 50-50, then the judge, they're going to discount you. The judges know everybody who might be on the hook for child support wants to save money on that. There are moms paying child support.
Some of these judges probably went through it too. So,
Probably.
whether it is in their own relationship or as children growing up, no one is immune to things like this. So people know.
Yeah.
You know,
People know.
you're not pulling anything over the court's eyes. But like Tasha says, hey, courts don't really care. They don't.
Yeah, if you're not a danger to your children, because at the end of the day, most parents work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most parents work. You know, even the one that's receiving the child support, they have to go to work and they have to find childcare.
Right.
So even the time that they're fighting for, they can't spend all of it with the children either.
Right.
So there's that. So again, the four things they look at: who's paying the health insurance premiums, what are the out-of-pocket costs, the monthly out-of-pocket costs, and who's paying those, who's paying for childcare, whether it's daycare, aftercare, not school tuition, and what are the number of overnights. I can tell you, and again, a court-ordered schedule. So if you do have your children half the time, but there's no court-ordered schedule, and the Department of Revenue, the child support office, is sending you letters saying this how much your child support going to be, trust me, they do not have it calculated in there that you're doing that half time. You have to go to court. You have to go to court. You have to go to court and get a time-sharing schedule. High five on child support.
That can't be emphasized enough. And, you know, the whole court thing is so traumatic for the individuals involved, including the children.
Yeah, it's something else.
But it's not necessarily your enemy.
Correct.
It can work out in everybody's favor. And it is an ideal way to make sure that the Department of Revenue is sending you the correct amounts that you need to be paying over. All right? So these things are good to know. Before we go any further, we're going to part company with Facebook Live right now. But before I do that, I do want to mention my segment sponsors. I didn't do that at the beginning. So thank you to Pulse Media Group. Pulse Media Group, when being in a moment is priceless, you want to give them a call. They can handle your videos, your photos, your streaming, your ads. Call them up, 754-999-1140. That's 754-999-1140. They can do everything you see on kevinstew.com and more. You have a church service, a wedding, a funeral, a party, a seminar, you name it. It's something you want to stream live, you can go ahead and call them up. They can hook you up, even for pay-per-view. Call them up, see what they can do for you. You have a secure platform, or you want one? Pulse Media Group got you. So tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. You can check them out, pulseemg.com. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you out of Broward County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties. She brings her tables, she brings her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy in her Healing Heavenly Hands. So call her up, 954-655-9000. Make your appointment today, or email her at thealater@att.net. That's thealater@att.net. Call her up, schedule your appointment, get your massage, feel good. She only has one request outside of paying her, that you get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done, because like me, chances are you'll fall asleep. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global Entertainment will act as your booking agent, handle your tour management, your copyrights, publishing, trademarks, business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Call them up, 954-804-8199. That's 954-804-8199, or check them out at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. And McNeil Trucking. You're in good hands with McNeil Trucking for your moving needs. Call them up, 954-406-9740. Tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you. Where do you need to go? Anywhere it is, they're licensed and insured. McNeil Trucking, 954-406-9740. So that officially takes care of all the housekeeping. Thank you very much. Those on Facebook Live, this is where we're going to part company. Use up the link. Come on over, kevinstew.com. Those of you listening on the affiliate stations, much love to you. One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, Island Worldwide, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. PEMG TV, those of you watching there, much love to you. If you're locked in on CR7, blessings to you. If you're checking out the podcast sometime in the future, we'll love you same way. Those on YouTube will love you same way. All right? Cool. So, parting company with Facebook Live. Oh, by the way, Alethea is on. Hey, Alethea.
Hello. This is the infamous healing hands you always talk
No,
about.
not Althea. Alethea. Alethea Banks. Alethea Banks
Alethea
Maxam.
Banks. Oh no, I'm a friend.
Yes.
Alethea.
Yes.
You following us over to Kevin's, oh Lord have mercy,
See, she tongue tied.
kevinstew.com.
I don't know what you have in that red cup, you know. But whatever it is, I need you to share.
Thank you for supporting Alethea.
All right,
Say
so
hello to Terry for me.
come on over. Use a link. It's pinned in the comment section. Use it up. Come on over, kevinstew.com. All right, so that was February. Now,
That was February. Okay. March was alimony.
Tasha and Tevin. Ah, boy.
And me. But no, I think in our scenario that month, I was paying alimony to you if I lost in court.
Well, we were pushing for you
Wasn't
to
that the
lose.
case?
We were pushing for you to lose in court to balance the thing.
That's what was on the line. Is I was gonna be paying you alimony, DJ Kevin.
Right. That's what it is. We were pushing for that to happen.
So who won?
I'm collecting a stipend. Thank you. But it goes right back
Well,
it goes right back into that child support money.
I think we found some hidden income, some hidden broadcast residuals. And I was able to say, Your Honor, alimony is not for the former spouses who can support themselves.
Wow.
So they lowered it. So I still pay you alimony, but not as much as you were asking for.
You see? This ladies and gentlemen, is a fight that I always get. Always.
See? Well, a lot of people think that alimony is win or lose, and it's not. You know, sometimes let's review what alimony is based on, right?
Mm-hmm.
They look at the person who's asking for it. Do you need it? You have to demonstrate with evidence that you have a financial need.
Right.
Okay. Now, there are different types of alimony. So, you know, how you demonstrate that need or the purpose of the alimony differs with each type, but it comes down to, do you need it? Do you demonstrate that you need it? And then even if you do prove that you need the help, the financial assistance, then you still got to prove that the other person, the person you're looking to receive it from, can afford to pay it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, so it's not just win or lose. You can say, well, Your Honor, let's talk about permanent alimony. This is the one that people usually think about when you hear the phrase alimony, the permanent periodic, right?
Yes.
That is the one that's based on the lifestyle and the standard of living that was established during the marriage. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so one spouse is able to continue living at that standard while the other spouse may not be without help. So the court says, all right. So what happened in our case is you said, listen, Your Honor, we were living in Weston. We were living in Southwest Ranches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We ate caviar out of glass slippers every night. And our children barely know us because our nannies did everything just the whole night, right?
Just so that you know, that was not the situation with Tasha and myself. And our fictitious two children did not. They know us very well. just to make sure that y'all know.
Our children, yeah, we took boats everywhere, flew everywhere, whatever.
Right.
Your Honor, now that I am, now that we're not together anymore, I can only afford, you know, a studio apartment in
And one trip
Lauderhill,
a
not
month.
Inverary, not Inverary, Lauderhill, right? Shout out to West Side. I grew up on the West Side of Lauderhill. Um, and that's it. I'm eating Franks and beans out the can with a spoon.
Wow. See? This is how she got over on me in court, ladies and gentlemen.
So Tasha should pay me alimony of $2,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I can at least get somewhere around the lifestyle I'm used to that I had when we were together.
Right.
So a lot of people think about, you know, you either win or you lose it. The court could say, listen, we agree that you shouldn't go to eating pork and beans, but Attorney Tasha's accountant has done such a good job of presenting her income that we don't think she can pay you $2,000 a month. She's going to pay you $200 a month in alimony.
The struggle is real.
The struggle is so real. So you won.
Yeah, I just didn't win all that I'm
You want a scratch off
entitled to.
instead of the lottery.
Right. Question posted in the stew pot.
All right.
The difference between alimony and spousal support.
They are the same thing. It's just interchangeable terms.
So there's no difference.
No, spousal support is alimony.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still struggling
I'll
for
sit
my
to that.
support. Still
And
struggling.
thank you for the question, because I meant to mention that when we first started talking about this.
Okay.
Spousal support. But isn't it funny? You pay spousal support to someone who's no longer your spouse.
Yeah. Who
They should
came
call it
up with
something
these
else.
terms?
I guess that's why the term spousal support, because there was this big move, right, to modernize the terms that we use.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the whole child custody versus time sharing thing.
Right.
But, I guess that's why the term spousal support really hasn't been picking up, because, you're not my spouse anymore. It's really lifestyle support, as far as permanent periodic alimony is concerned. So, Do you remember, you don't have to remember the name, DJ Kevin, but do you remember the purpose, at least, for at least one of the other types of alimony?
No.
He said, Lord, if there's anything like alimony around my heart, please remove it. I don't even.
I was so
I
bitter.
think you repressed that whole.
Listen, I was so bitter about not getting what I was asking for that, nothing else mattered after that.
He said, I want to cleanse my mind of the March community finance section.
And Nikki, who you brought on that night, also didn't really help me much. She didn't,
No, Nikki was April.
Nikki was April?
I think Nikki was April because we spent all night with her.
She didn't pass through in March?
She was supposed to.
Okay.
She was originally supposed to, but then we had to go back on her case. The court rescheduled. We had to reschedule her hearing.
Yes.
So I said, well, I want you to come on after we finish your case. So
that's right.
Come April instead.
That's right.
So I think it's April or May she came. Yeah. But March was all alimony all night long.
Yeah, it was such
and
a struggle.
You blocked it out. You repressed it out of your memory because it was too painful.
Yeah, very.
Okay. But, though, yeah, I agree, Marlon. I think they should call it divorce support or lifestyle. So, yeah, as far as permanent periodic alimony is concerned, it's lifestyle support. You're supporting the person so that they can continue the lifestyle that the marriage established.
Even
Yeah.
if one individual had that lifestyle and the other came into it, because I think we had tasked in, if my memory serves me correctly, we started talking about prenups.
We
As
did
in,
eventually talk about prenups because a lot of this stuff interwove with each other now.
right,
So a lot of this stuff, yeah, it interwove with each other. But a prenup can spare you from paying alimony after the divorce is finalized. But I'll make this our second type that we talked about, since we already touched on permanent periodic. You have temporary alimony. Remember, in court, the word temporary means as long as the case is going on. Even if the case go on for years, they're calling it temporary.
right,
If the case is still going on and the judge hasn't slammed the gavel at the final hearing yet, it's temporary. Whether we're talking about a time sharing schedule or attorney's fees, whatever. So there's temporary alimony. You cannot contract away temporary alimony. And I think I told you too, this is kind of the game sometimes lawyers play. Like if I have a client who's seeking alimony and it doesn't look like they'll be able to get it on a permanent basis, sometimes we'll try to have the case lost as long as
drag it
we'll get
out
an order
as
at the
long
beginning
as
where they
ever.
say you have to pay temporary alimony. Then we try to make the case last as long as possible. And I've had other lawyers try against me too. So it's just the game, you know. But yeah, temporary alimony, it's, you know, again, it's all need and ability to pay.
Right.
Right. And if the judge decides you don't need it permanently, they don't go back in the case to say, so whatever they paid you during the case, you have to pay it back. It's just you're out of the money.
Yeah, I was a bit bitter about that
No
too.
take backsies.
Okay, so that's permanent alimony
Temp-
and
temporary.
temporary.
And then now you have rehabilitative alimony, which I think is a stinky word too. I don't like it. I don't think it fits the definition that's attached to it. But it's basically go back to school alimony or get a job alimony. So
It is the one that supports you until you put yourself in a better position.
Yeah. If getting credentials or some type of training is crucial,
Yes.
to you being able to go out and support yourself and work, then if the other side can help pay for that, the court will order it. So you have to have a specific schedule, or you have to have a plan set forth, and you have to present it, and the court will grant the plan. You can't just be like, well, I thought about going to school to become a nurse, so give me $40,000 tuition so I could go be a nurse, and then nobody knows what you do with the money. It doesn't. No, it don't work like that.
The other party can support it.
If correct, there you go. If you prove that the other side has the ability to pay, need ability to pay. So there's that, right? So we call that what? We should call that education support,
Right.
or vocational support. I think that's a better term.
I hope you're writing these down for submission, to the courts so that it can change these names.
You think I should go change it, DJ Kevin?
Oh yeah, I think we should start a movement.
All right, let's start a movement. I'll go change it. Let's go.
Yeah, I think we should start a movement. And Marlon is saying, since Marlon is saying, I like lifestyle support.
Yeah.
For that one, and vocational support for the rehabilitative.
Yeah, because rehab looked like
Yeah, it's kind of saying that
rehab looked like you just
here
mashed
it
up my
is.
life so bad
Right.
that I need to rehabilitate myself from having been with you.
Right. So for those who already on the fence about something like marriage, now that really pushes them over. It's when you're talking about rehabilitative marriage going to mash up your life, you don't want to get into it because then you're going to have to get rehabilitative
You got to go
support.
to rehab.
That's the kind of thing that pushes one over on a negative side of what a marriage can be. And we all know the institution that marriage is, like most other institutions. There's at least one good thing that comes out of it.
Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. One good thing, my lord.
At
I hear you
least.
though. I hear you though,
At least.
DJ. I'm not gonna argue with you.
I have 1.5, Kasha and Tevin.
Oh boy.
So, permanent, temporary, rehabilitative. What's number 4?
And then we have, this is the only name that makes sense. This is the only one I like. It's Bridge the Gap Alimony.
Okay, go.
This one makes sense. So Bridge the Gap Alimony basically says, listen, you're not gonna, carry me after the divorce so I can have the same lifestyle. It's not that type of situation. But since say I'm moving from a 2-income household to just me, I need some adjustment space,
Right.
so I can bridge the gap between living as someone who had someone to share these expenses with me to living as someone who's going to be carrying these expenses alone. Okay. So that one makes sense. We don't have to try to rock the boat or change that one.
Right.
Okay. And then finally, that leaves us, well, there's 2 more. One is sort of a tool. It's not really its own type of alimony. But durational alimony is basically, it would have been permanent periodic alimony, except they can't do it forever like permanent periodic alimony, but the same circumstances exist. So that's the best way I can explain it to keep it short.
Right.
Okay. So you see durational alimony in practice. The only time I see durational alimony is when we agree to it. Right. And it's like, Tasha, when would you ever tell your client to agree to alimony? Trust me, it is worth it sometimes. I had a client who made about $19,000 a month, and he was divorcing someone who made $3,000 a month. And because we had a certain amount of leverage as far as other things, as far as not wanting to go to trial, and as far as how the case might turn out if we fought over the case, we just said, listen, we'll just fight it, we'll just settle everything in exchange for us giving you all of those things that you're asking for, Mom. We're gonna ask for a cap, because we know if we go in front of a judge with you making $3,000 and us making $19,000, you're gonna get alimony. So no one's arguing about that, right?
Right.
But we're just gonna do it for 8 years, not until you retire or die. And we were able to get that done in that case. So I don't think it's something you go around doing, But in those cases where it's just like, do not bother fighting about whether or not you have to pay alimony. It's going to happen. Let's just do damage control at this point. You understand?
Right.
So practically speaking, a judge can order durational alimony, but I never see it really come up unless we agree to it. So we put a cap on what would have otherwise been permanent alimony, and we call it durational in the paperwork. Blah, whatever. So, and then finally you have lump sum alimony, which is basically, it's not even like a type of alimony. It's just a way that the other types of alimony can be awarded.
Right. Just give them a one check. Like you win,
Just
you have your lotto winnings. You either get
a one
lump
and
sum,
done,
or you get your payments over the duration of the remainder of your life.
Yeah. And I can tell you, depending on what side of the case you're on, you may or may not want something to be like, let's say the court is dividing the property, right? And neither of you really don't have anything but the house.
Right.
And so you say, listen, I'm entitled to alimony and I'm entitled to half the house. So why don't we call the portion of what I get from the house alimony? Or why don't we call, you know, some percentage of that alimony? And you might ask yourself, why would it matter what we call it as long as you're going to get, you know, your equity in the house?
Right.
When something is support, whether it's child support or spousal support, you can, and the person doesn't pay it, you can hold them in contempt. Now, you can hold someone in contempt if the court divides the property and you don't transfer the property over, but it's not the kind of contempt you get when it comes to support. When it comes to support, you can have people thrown in jail. You don't get thrown in jail for defying a court order about the division of property. They could just, you really have to go through a lot if someone is not obeying the court order about dividing the property, which is why for me, whatever needs to be transferred or sent over or given over or received, I just want to make sure all of that's done before the hearing, the final judgment is even entered. That's something I had to learn along the way, because if it's not support, contempt has no teeth. Like, they just now updated the rules to try to put some teeth in contempt for matters that are not support, but
Right.
you're not going to jail. You know?
But with support, you can go to jail.
You can go to jail very quickly for non-payment. I've done it.
Well, we've seen cases. Well, everybody has heard of child support cases, and I think that's a big fear, you know, with child support, getting locked up. And we talked about this a little bit. It doesn't make sense. This is part of child support.
It doesn't make practical sense to me.
I don't get. Someone cannot pay their child support, and you're gonna lock them up for doing that. How are they gonna pay it from behind bars?
Correct.
So, you know, I struggle with that form
I'm
of
not going to say it
punishment.
doesn't work, DJ Kevin.
I
Like I said,
can
I've had
understand
to
it
do
being a
it.
deterrent. But
Correct.
But
when
in the whole
some judges just dole it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it in a practical sense, you know, yeah, to scare someone into doing it, I get it. But if they're in a position where they can't do it, you're sending them, you're basically painting them in a corner where now either they're going to have to try to make sure to do it by illegal means, which is going to land them in jail anyway, or they're not going to do it, which is going to land them in jail. So you damned if you do and you damned if you don't.
Well, not if you don't have the ability. And this is part of why I do this. You know, I come on things like this, or I go out on the community and give talks. It's like, you know, if more people knew this, they would be able to avoid the situation. You know, if you know how to speak up for yourself and what to say. If you can no longer afford to pay the child support, you cannot be held in contempt for not paying it. And you really should take the proactive step of filing a motion or a petition saying, listen, the child support needs to be changed or paused because I can't afford it like I once did when they first ordered me to pay this child support. Things have changed. I make less money. I make no money. I have more time with the children. Mom is making more money or whatever, or the other person receiving, because again, moms pay child support too.
Right.
Things have changed. So that's really what you should do. But even if you don't and you fall behind and then they start to come after you, if you can prove, you know, I understand the court said the purge amount is $1,000. I don't have it. You cannot go to jail. Contempt is something you must do willfully. If you don't have the ability to do it, then it's not contempt. And a lot of people, they end up losing their license or being sent to jail or having these different things assessed against them because they don't know that that's all they have to say.
So they don't have to prove it? They just have to say it?
No, they're going to have to prove it, of course. And then that's the other thing too, is how do I prove it? And it's one of the simpler things. It's like, just go and take, it's like when you're on unemployment. It's the same thing when you're on unemployment. Just show them, print it out if you can, but just show them, hey, this is my attempt to find work.
Right.
I can't find none.
Right.
and you're that's how you protect yourself in a situation where you're not able to. Now, if you're able to and you're just not paying it, you're gonna go to jail probably.
And we're back to
Sorry.
square one.
Yeah, that's it. So
All right, so that was what, March?
that was March. So we're good on alimony. Florida legislature, again, they try every year. They try to pass an alimony statute. Didn't work. They're probably going to try again.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see if they ever get it, if they ever get there. All right.
Then in April, we had that nightmare.
We didn't do prenups that time? Let me see.
It was a part of one of them that we did. The nightmare custody battle with Nikki was what we had in April.
Whew. So we're finally done with her case. We were done. I think that was nightmare custody battle. Yeah, that was April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Marlon, the 0.5, that's Tevin. That's
Tevin is a 0.5?
Tevin is a 0.5 because Kasha is the one that cost me a whole lot of money. So she's the one that lives up to her name.
Kasha need our Kasha. Oh Lord. Yes.
All right,
she did her braces.
Oh Lord.
Tasha need her braces, man. I love it. So the nightmare custody battle.
Yes.
Right?
With Nikki.
That's the night when we learned, I can't even say learn because I feel like it's sort of common knowledge, but it's just like, bad judges exist.
No, I think that was a night when it was proven. Because
unfortunately, South Florida has a really bad reputation.
Yeah.
Broward, Miami, even Palm Beach. We got a bad reputation in the state for judges. Family court is rough because right now, a lot of times if a judge gets in trouble, I'm not going to say a lot of the time, but from time to time, too often, in my opinion, if a judge gets in trouble in another division, then they just send them over to family court.
I've heard you say that before, and every time I hear you say it, I'm like, they need to find some other method of punishment. Really.
Well, they don't look at it as punishment. That's the thing.
Exactly.
I had an idea
but
that
we
I
the people must
submitted to a committee that's going to report to the court. I have an idea. Just some things maybe they can do to change it. But we'll see.
Oh, okay. But
right now, it's another game of musical chairs in Broward County Family Court. Like, it's not as bad, but I had to talk to a client tonight, and I had to let him know, like, you don't have a judge right now.
Say what?
You don't have a judge.
What happened to his judge?
There's no judge in his division.
What?
That judge left. He got replaced by and then the judge that replaced him, she just left. And she wasn't even there, I don't think, 3 months. And I'm just like, how are we supposed to go to trial? The judges keep leaving. Because this isn't a case that we wanted to take to the general magistrate, but we're going to have to just take it to the general magistrate because they're always there. Thank God. Thank God for general magistrates. I think I've been in front of them just as much as I've been in front of judges this past year.
What's the difference?
A general magistrate hears the case and collects the evidence, but they don't put in an order. They put out, they enter a recommended order, but it's still, the judge still has to review it and sign off on it for it to become an order.
So
And I'll tell you the truth. At this point, a lot of the family judges, we only have one family judge right now who's ever even practiced family law. So really, the general magistrates are a lot more versed in
And hearing these
in family
cases,
law than the judges.
that's, you know what? That's for another show.
It is. It
I
is.
won't even take on that one right now. That's for another show. But
No, but I mean, they wear robes. You wouldn't know. A lot of people don't know when they're in front of a general magistrate. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know. Like I realize that a lot of people don't even know. Like when you go to mediation, like the mediator is not a judge.
yeah,
So I mean, I have to say we have some fabulous general magistrates. A couple are new, but they're still great. You know, and I mean our new judges are great as well. It's just you just got to get used to a whole nother group of people. And back a few years ago when I returned to litigating full time, you know, all the judges were seasoned and, it's just in and out there for better or worse. They knew what they were doing. We got one left like that from that school, like one, literally one. Everyone else, either they're just becoming a judge for the first time or they're hearing family law cases for the first time or for the first time in a long time. And so it's a lot. But, Nikki, her situation just really illustrated how the system can fail you, unfortunately.
yeah.
The system failed her. And her story was really a miracle from God, but once that miracle came through, then the court became a useful tool
right
in, tying everything up. But she needed to not give up, number one. I think that is the number one thing when it comes to family court. It tests everything you got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It tests everything you have. And if I was able, I would have brought my pastor that night as well, because I said, listen, I can't support you while I work your case. I can't be there for you, right? Just like we were talking with Dr. Tasha last time we were here, you need a support system. I need you to marshal your friends, your close friends. I need you to get a counselor if you can, a pastor, whoever you trust. You need people that's going to help you through this journey of going through family court, because it is going to mess with your mind.
Right. And when you listen to Nikki tell her story, just hearing the story it messes with your emotions. And the back and the forth and the struggles that she went through, and fortunately for her, it kind of worked itself out with the dad just putting himself in a position where he had nothing left that he could use.
Mm-hmm.
So, it worked out beautifully for her. But how many others?
Mm-hmm. Right. So many people are going through it alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least she had, she was able to come back. Because, we had our thing and we split up.
Right.
We talked about that too. I didn't represent her through the whole
That's
thing.
right.
We broke up.
That's right. And
But
came back.
after everything happened, she came back and it's just like, listen, this is your one shot you got left.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fight it from where you are. Move back to Florida. And it was scary to tell someone to uproot their life all over again.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
she had a good thing going.
Yeah, she really did. And I mean, praise God, now she has the court order. She's able to go back.
Right.
With the kids.
Yeah.
But if she had continued or gone the path of trying to continue fighting from where she was, because she was already here and all of that craziness happened. So she just, she went she did what she could from where she was. But
Right.
when that door opened up, she didn't know, well, do I need to stay? What do I do? And I'm just like, look, you're going to think I'm crazy, but come back, move back to Florida, and you'll get what you want this time.
Right.
But she went through several judges. And it's like all the judges that changed on her case is like they got in trouble. It's really bad. One judge got in trouble for something that he was doing to a lot of moms, and that's what really kicked off all of the turmoil in our case. Is that
Right,
he was
right.
he was just sticking it to moms. He didn't care, and all of this craziness. And it's public information. It's really sad. I really like that judge, But hey, and now if her case were still going, she would be looking at a fourth judge. The judge has changed again since we finished her case. So yeah. So don't give up. And sometimes, the outcome of your case is really the luck of the draw. Because at the end of the day, good attorneys know the law. Great attorneys know the judges. That's a saying. That's a popular saying because the judge really is the secret sauce.
Right.
To the success or outcome of a case or the likelihood of a certain outcome in your case. So you want someone that knows the judge.
I know it's definitely the case as when you look at the two major criminal cases that I present on very often, being Julius Jones out of Oklahoma and Rodney Reed out of Texas, both death penalty cases. And the judges play a major role.
Correct. Right. So that the judge effect is more pronounced in certain areas of law than others.
Yes.
But it's definitely there in all aspects, in all cases where you have to look at one. And I think family law is one of those cases where it's more judge sensitive, maybe not as much as immigration court. But
I won't even get into that one.
Ooh, I'll bring Althea just by herself one night so we can get into that. I want to go into green card marriages and all that good stuff.
Right.
But she came. That was June, so we don't reach June yet. So what was May?
It was after the nightmare came Althea, because Althea and crew, because I
crew
don't
was
have
after
one.
The nightmare.
Yeah, we
they
didn't
were
do
June
one in
for
May.
some reason.
They were in June, but I don't see where we did one in May. Something had happened.
I know.
I
know. I had an off month this year.
A couple.
Maybe it was May.
A couple. Because there was July also.
Oh, I didn't have 2 off.
You sure?
Let's see. No, I couldn't leave you twice in 1 year, DJ Kevin.
Oh, yes, you could.
I could no. See, May was domestic violence and child emergency cases.
Oh.
Do you remember that crazy story that broke out in the news? It was in the news. The 4-year-old boy was found dead. His mom tried to file an emergency motion to get him, and it was denied, and then he ended up dying by the father's hands. You remember that?
That was in May?
We talked about it in May. I think it happened around that time, but we only meet once a month, so we talked about it in May.
Right.
And so we took that as an opportunity to talk about domestic violence and child emergency cases. And I lumped them together because, on the, negative side, these are the 2 most popular tools that family attorneys try to use to ram their case through the system.
Yeah.
Because they already know if it's a normal family case, you're going to be waiting and waiting for trial, waiting and waiting for a hearing, waiting and waiting for this, waiting for that.
Right.
But when you go to DV court, things have to happen quick. When you file a child emergency motion or a motion for emergency pickup order, things happen quickly. And that's kind of how, Nikki, that's how it started with her as well. You had the judge, the guy that knew him. They had a hearing behind her back. She didn't know or hire me at the time. And the judge the judge's friend who represented Dad slipped him some paperwork and he signed it. It was completely illegal. Yeah. Which is why when I came in and we did the appeal, the writ of certiorari, it was granted. We won the appeal, but then, the lower court judge refused to honor it. So hence the 4 years that followed.
Yeah.
But, it was really sad what happened in that case with the 4-year-old boy. I really should see what happened there since then. There wouldn't be anything in the court system because that was their only child. So, there's no more case because sadly there's no more child. But we were able to access the pleadings and the court record.
Right.
And we read what happened. You remember that. So I think just the main thing there is you got to be very careful when you're served with a domestic violence case, number one, or a motion for an emergency pickup order, those hearings are not long.
Right.
Those hearings are not long at all. I know we talked about that. They go by in the blink of an eye. But the court is supposed to come back very, very shortly after that and review the decision they made to make sure it was the right decision. And so don't let it sit. Don't let it fly. You're entitled to your day in court. And the court is not always going to get it right. I remember practicing in family court and, it appeared to me anyway that emergency pickup motions were decided on common sense basis. But once a certain judge came in, she started influencing all the other judges that you literally could not get an emergency pickup unless a child was dying, which that's not the only child emergency that the law intends to recognize or should recognize. Or it kind of, defeats the purpose of even having an emergency pickup. Where there is no child abuse or threat or harm to the child, a mother can still get an emergency pickup of their child if dad will not give the child or the children back and his paternity has not been established. I don't think we talked about that night. Right? So the child doesn't even have to be in danger. If you don't have your paternity established and you refuse to give the child back, mom can go and get an emergency pickup. Send the sheriff to your house, get the kids, bring them to her.
But didn't we talk about that when we were talking with Nikki? And
correct.
She couldn't have done it because she was out of state.
She couldn't get an emergency pickup because he had his paternity established for one of the children.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was.
What they did was they did a false emergency pickup where they alleged that she was on drugs with no proof.
Right. It was
that's
the father
how,
that
that's
used
how the whole
the
situation
pickup.
started.
Yes.
Before she met me.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's really sad.
So, I'm trying to follow as the months go by. The time just kind of been flying.
It did. So where are we now? June?
Yeah. So that was June. We had the round table.
That was
May.
Yeah.
We were doing domestic violence
about the kid.
Right. In June.
Now, June is when I brought all my friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning to touch bases with them, and I haven't done so still. But
No problem.
there
But June was for the
was,
men, since it was the month in which Father's Day fell.
yeah,
I brought out all my lady friends for the men.
right.
And
So,
you had Beverly McNeil, who
mm-hmm,
practices in Social Security. We had Kimmy King Lindsay. Um, and these are all, my dear friends,
yes,
um, who practices also in family law like myself, also coming from dependency like myself, but that she also does criminal.
mm-hmm,
You have Althea Campbell, who
right,
also practices family law, but is an immigration law titan for years, for decades. And then also Samantha Parchment, I believe she is the president or immediate past president of the Jamaican American Bar Association,
mm-hmm,
and she was there to speak to us about property and bankruptcy. And so you were our guest that night.
yeah, pretty much, and the guinea pig, guest and the guinea pig, but that's okay. I'm fine with it.
So, I mean, if you're listening to this, you just got to go to kevinstew.com and look up that episode. There were too many tidbits,
Oh yeah,
too many nuggets of information shared that night for me to really go through all of them with you.
yeah. That
Um,
was our July
that
broadcast.
was that was June,
That was our June
and I think
broadcast.
July is when I was off.
You were out in July, and
I think so.
then came August, and
Mhm.
no, July. I looked at what's
Rodney
it?
Reed.
No, I looked at common law marriage. You weren't able to
Oh,
join
I
us. I looked at that
see.
solo. I looked at common law marriages solo. Um,
Give me the tidbit since I was recuperating that night.
well,
What nugget did you walk away with regarding common law marriage in July?
to be honest, it's all a blur right now. And I need to go revisit it. So,
Well, wherever you're visiting it at is not in Florida because Florida don't recognize common
yeah,
law
it's
marriage.
not recognized in Florida. So,
But it is an intriguing concept, right?
yes,
Because
because they got some of the same benefits over if you're in this situation, if this is your living situation over a certain period of time, then you're entitled just as much as someone who was married. So
so
you
what does
get,
that say to you? Just to pick your brain.
well, you go to family court and present your case in the very same way. So the very same things that you learn in family court, as we talk about dealing with family court, and presenting your cases and filing your motions, and you have alimony and such, with the states that recognize common law marriages, you're going through these same situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, whereas it becomes an argument of, boy, it is not a real marriage unless someone with the authority says it is a marriage, and you pay for that certificate amount, you pay for that marriage certificate and whatever else. You go through those motions to make it legal. Yeah, none of that was done, but because of the amount of time that you have spent together, because of the investment that you have made in that family unit, whether it's just you and that individual or now you had children
Mm-hmm.
together, all of the things apply.
Mm-hmm. All of the things attach,
Yeah.
right? Which is interesting, right? Because you're saying although you did not walk down the aisle and sign the paper, you're doing all the things.
Yes. You made the commitment.
You're doing all the things. It's basically the law saying if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck
Then
and
it's a
walks
duck.
like a duck, it's a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I wonder what it must be like to be in a jurisdiction that recognizes common law marriage and you're with someone, let's say the state recognizes 7 years like Florida used to, and then things fall apart in year 6.
Then that 6 years of investment that just went down the drain.
Now, you want to hear something interesting?
What's that?
In Florida, most alimony is you're not going to be entitled to, especially permanent periodic alimony, or what we are calling in the stew pot lifestyle alimony. It's presumed, it's assumed that you're not entitled to it if you've been married less than 7 years.
So basically, they
So
took
even though
they took that whole common law marriage stipulation and applied it to marriages.
See,
So you have to get
even
past
though
the
we don't
7-year itch.
recognize it anymore, you know,
It's still
there's
there.
still some of that's, you know what I mean? It's like we're still not going to attach an obligation to you for alimony until you pass the 7-year threshold.
Yeah, you have to get through the 7-year itch.
You still got to get to the 7, but you had to have, you know, notified us of your life together. Or when I say notify us, I mean, you know, get legally married.
Well, and that was another thing too. With the common law situation, it is just a matter of, if my memory serves me correctly, getting affidavits to say, okay, here it is. Yes, we know that these two individuals were living together in a marriage type relationship for X amount of time. And that was supporting documents.
So do you see how, tell me if you agree with me. This is just Tasha the person speaking.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't agree.
Okay, I'm lying. It's Tasha the attorney. But do you see now how really, I'm not saying that justice is always done.
Yes.
Right? But do you see now how support laws are about financial equity? Ensuring that things are fair. Right? Because let's turn the common example on its head.
Okay.
And I was the breadwinner and you were the one that stayed home with Kasha and Tevin. And you had to shut down night shift. You couldn't do it the way you really want to because you're just throwing yourself into the parenting.
Right.
Being with me cost you something.
Yes.
Who knows what it cost you, really? And not only did it cost you something, it saved me things.
Right.
Right? Because now I didn't have to pay a daycare for them every month. I didn't have to hire a cook because you were cooking. I didn't have to hire a maid because you were washing.
Right.
You understand? And this went on for years and years and years. So without family court and divorce laws, I can simply walk away.
Yeah.
And say, thank you for everything you did. I'm very grateful.
Whether you mean
Now,
it or not. Yeah.
You see? And so this is why sometimes I don't think I jump back and forward. I believe in marriage. I absolutely believe in the institute of marriage. Um, do I agree with how every government implements it? Not necessarily,
Mm.
right? But this is kind of why we have it. I'm a bit of a marriage apologist. Even though I've been helping to divorce people for 12 years, I still stand by marriage because without marriage is the basis, just in the legal sense, right? We don't have time to talk about the holistic, but just in the legal sense, the existence of a legal marriage is the basis by which the government could come in and say, hey, we're going to make things fair. Tasha, you're not going to just be able to drain out DJ Kevin life and then say thank you and walk off. You're going to
Right.
restore him somewhat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Rightly so.
So that is my marriage apology for the evening. Um, it's just so funny to me. And again, another tangent, only because we're almost done reviewing the year, but we have, substantial time left. But I was watching, I don't know if you watch Love is Blind on Netflix.
I don't.
Ah,
Never seen it.
you should.
I've never seen
It's
it.
a hoot. It's a riot.
Okay.
So Love is Blind, the setup of the show isn't important. I was watching the recent season, the newest season, and you had a character, funnily enough, she was the only black woman and she was an attorney. But she came out in the season as this very feminist type character,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh, why does the man get to do this? And why can't women this? And why can't women that? But then when it came out during, her relationship with her beau, that not only did he not make as much as her, the thing that he pursued as his passion in life really was not even basically financially gainful.
Mm.
The first thing she was like, I'm not going to be paying all the bills. And I'm just
Wow.
like, well, isn't that what the men do? Like, if we're going to be feminists, let's be feminists.
Right.
This is why I'm not a feminist, Kevin. I don't want to do everything men do.
Listen, it's a struggle that it is the great debate that has been
Mm-hmm.
going on for the longest while. When and you can see where it is that a woman can argue wanting that equity,
Mm-hmm.
but the ones arguing for that equity need to recognize that there are some other things that come with it. So you can't
There's
just
a
look
flip
at it from
side to
one
every
side,
coin.
right? And generally what happens is that they look at it from one angle, not recognizing, hey, here comes this other side of it.
Here comes the other side. It's like, for all the how come women can't and how come men get to, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, well, you could pay all the bills too.
Right. Keep me home barefoot and
That's
pregnant.
just me being part facetious, but very honestly, that's honestly how I feel. I mean, you can't choose where you're going to be. If you're a feminist, you're a feminist. But I digress.
Yeah.
I will uh I'll write up something on my manifesto on feminism at another time, but that that was
So that was what,
June.
June with a
June
round
was about
table.
the men.
Right.
The women came in and we served the men's questions. August was
Family
right here.
court,
Representing yourself,
representing yourself, yes.
being a pro se. So A lot of it was etiquette that we talked about. I actually do want to do a part 2 to that in the
Yeah,
new
because
year.
that was just the initial filings, basically.
hmm Where to find the paperwork? You go to flcourts.org
Mm-hmm.
and download the forms you need for family law, and the forms have instructions.
Right.
You can sign up for e-filing at myflcourtaccess.com. So you can file your paperwork without having to go all the way down to the courthouse. Just know that once you do that, you're going to receive everything from the court via email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We talked about what is a motion, you know,
Yes.
and try to demystify that, try to take the mystery and the, you know, the I don't know, intimidation factor out of that. And the emotion is just you asking the court to do something,
Right.
right? So as long as you put all the court info, you can even write a letter to the court. As long as you put, you know, the court information at the top and at the bottom, you know, with the case number. And just how when you get a document from the court on that case, everything you see at the top, you put the same thing. Your name, their name, are you the petitioner, respondent, the case number, and all of that. And at the bottom, you have to put that you sent a copy of that letter to the other side, and you have to send it to the other side. Everything you file with the court or try to send to the judge, you got to send it to the other side, or the judge is not allowed to look at it. Okay? So as long as you have those things at the top and the bottom, you can write whatever you want in the middle. However, I suggest you get a lawyer so that you don't write yourself into a funk.
Right.
But if you're in a pinch and the chips are down and you got to do something, you don't have to be voiceless in court. Please understand. You do not have to be voiceless in court. Okay? You can file something and get your side heard. And judges, you know, they will try to eke out the legal argument that you're making or
Mm-hmm.
could be making. But yeah, I think you were right, DJ Kevin. I think we did a little bit on prenuptial agreements,
Yes, we did.
but they didn't have their own night.
No, we touched on it a little bit here and a little bit there, but no, there wasn't a night with just prenups and what goes along with it and how to navigate around it and work through it and such. No, we didn't do all that in one night.
No, we didn't. So you want to close out with that?
Close out with that when?
Now. We could talk a little bit about it now.
Oh no, we're not gonna have time to talk about that now. It's
Oh no.
no,
You know what
not
that
at all.
tells me?
Because we still have.
That tells me you got a lot to say.
Oh no, I never have a lot to say. Come on now.
Oh boy. I love to hear men talk about this. It's so entertaining.
But we still have the making the crazy or crazy making that we did just last
We saved the
month
best
with
for
Dr.
last.
Tasha. Yeah, that was when I was in Tasha heaven because I had two Tashas. I had attorney Tasha and I had Dr. Tasha.
The illustrious Dr. Tasha. Doctora Tasha.
Right.
She's awesome. I can't
She
wait. I
is.
can't wait to have her back.
I'm so looking forward to that. And for those of you listening in, that is coming up in the new year. So, you know, the journey continues. And what we're basically doing is just doing a little bit of a recap of some of the topics that we touched on going through 2021. Because the next 2 months, you know, we're on once a month with attorney Tasha Simmonds, and November is not happening because that week I'll be out celebrating with the family for the first in a long time, with my big sister, and the next month is Christmas. So we again won't be able to get to dive in and do what we normally do on the fourth Monday of each month.
Right. But there's so much for you to go back and watch
Yes.
from January to last month and even tonight. I think some extra nuggets came out tonight while we were reviewing.
Yeah, there were a couple of little things that came out. Last month we looked at the quote unquote baby mama, baby daddy drama that comes out in court.
What impacted you the most from that segment, DJ Kevin?
How much baby daddy drama there is. Because, generally the story is that the daddies are more chill, and we just want to be able to not be taken to the cleaners because women get all the benefits of the doubt of everything. We want that level playing field where we can go into court and say, hey, we are entitled to this too. So I think that was, but those dads that went all out and all crazy, that's it kind of leveled the playing field with knowing that baby mamas aren't the only one with drama.
Yep.
What would you say is something that you would have wanted everyone to take away from that?
That at the end of the day, the court really doesn't care how much this person gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you, listen, maybe next time, be careful who you have kids with.
It's not like people really are saying, boy, here's this is the one that I want to have kids with. A lot of times this is the one that I want to.
Not, DJ Kevin?
Because a lot of the times this is the one that I want to just go to bed with, versus the one that I want to have kids with.
How is it though? How are we still doing that in our 30s and I say we for a reason.
Because
we're
still pleasure.
Times where
we're still
it's like I should have
though.
Had my eyes way more open. Why do we do it still, knowing like if you? There's so many different ways to get fat, right?
Yeah.
There's so many ways to bump into that, intentionally or even by omission, right? There's so many ways to get broke.
Right.
There's so many ways to do things, to get fired. You know what I mean? There's only one way to make a child.
Well,
and you would think
you can go to a lab.
Make a child.
You can go to a lab.
I said make a child. There's only one way to make a child.
Okay.
You understand? And it's like, we know that this activity can lead to that. And it's just like, how are we still, what is it? What are we not emphasizing in culture enough? Or
you can emphasize it till the cows come home. We're just pleasure junkies, and we want to experience the maximum amount of pleasure. And when you put certain things in place, it takes away from some of that pleasure. It's delving into the whole psyche of our community and how our children are being raised, which impacts how they in turn raise their children. And it ends up being this whole cyclical thing, this whole social construct thing. You know, our television shows and movies, our magazines, all these things contribute to it. Novels, all they all play a role.
Mm-hmm.
So because we're pleasure junkies, the things that appeal to our pleasure senses, uh, whether we're hearing it, watching it, reading it, we are going to at some point in time act on it. And when it comes to baby making, it is one of those things that, okay, we love each other so much, we want to experience each other as real as we can, and sometimes we go overboard with it, and here comes a baby. And it often comes from just that pleasure side, not necessarily the thought process that is being put into it, that this is the person that I want to raise a child with. There are very few people that you hear have that conversation. I want us
That's
to
a
have a
big
child
statement.
together, and I choose you as my partner having this child because you have certain values and I have certain values, and I think we would be good with raising a child together with a combination of our values.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, that also takes it to another side where it's not necessarily where these two individuals see themselves as being partners, where
Mm-hmm.
they want to spend the rest of their lives together.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to be able to raise this child together because of their values. They want this person to have this kind of input in their child's life. And now that opens up a whole different can of worms, because you have the religious pundits that are coming in and saying, you know, that doesn't happen unless you're supposed to be equally yoked, and you're supposed to do this before that can happen, and that part comes into play. And then you have the social construct of, well, a family is supposed to be mommy, daddy, married, and raising a child, and this is how we establish these values, and then you have that. But ultimately, it starts with the two individuals saying, hey, listen, I want to have a child. I choose you as someone that I want to have this child with. Ideally, you'd want those two individuals to be two that are compatible as partners as well as parents. But what we have,
Yes. Hold on. You said an important word.
yeah,
You said
compatibility
an important
as
word.
partners and parents.
Partners.
Yeah. Family court is here
So
to really show that
yeah,
the compatibility as partners don't really work out
yeah.
all the
Because
time.
here's the thing:
Mm.
when two people come in, two or more people come in, and they actually form a business partnership,
Mm-hmm.
and that partnership fails, and now they have to go to court to end it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that's called?
The dissolution of the business,
Dissolution. And what is a divorce called?
a dissolution of marriage. Yeah, listen. A lot of people don't take into consideration some of the things that take place when you're getting married. You actually get a
No,
certificate that you
because
have
you
to
don't
pay
need
money for. You're
a
entering
marriage
into a
license. Is the only
contractual.
license you can just wander into a courthouse and get without training.
It's a contractual agreement, and actually, they do require. In some states, you pay more for it if you haven't had marriage counseling, and
Okay.
that
Now let me talk
is
to you about
that is
Florida.
the training part.
You've been married in Florida, DJ Kevin?
I have been married in Florida.
Okay. So tell me if this resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, listen, we'll give you the marriage license for $90 instead of whatever much dollars, but you have to do counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Was not the counseling some little pamphlet with cartoon drawings?
Listen,
DJ Kevin.
my first marriage
How
happened in Jamaica,
Talk to me,
and
man.
and we went through a whole book, a workbook, and I can tell you, whereas my first wife and I are still friends today, after a period of non-communication, um, even with the marriage counseling, it doesn't always work. So, if the little pamphlet worked for some people, hey, more power to you.
Tell you.
Oh my goodness. 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Attorney Tasha.
Yes, sir. I think this is a nice place to leave off.
Go ahead and tell
I
people where they can
wanna
find you.
definitely uncover and peel back more layers of this discussion when we see each other again.
Oh yeah, we got time in the future.
We got time.
We don't have any more time tonight, but we have time in the future. Tell people where they can get in touch with you, please.
You can get in touch with me at 888-311-8511. Again, 888-311-8511. Or if you want to chat with us, you can come to SimmondsLegal.com, but it's better you call us.
There we go. Nice and simple. Tasha, thank you very much. Thank you for a year of information. Thank you for a year of support. I truly appreciate love you. Even with our divorce and the alimony proceedings and the child support and all, I still appreciate love you.
Same.
Even
What
though
did
you
it say?
didn't send me the
Ditto.
song. Even though you didn't send me the song. Even though you
Oh
have
my
it that
goodness.
everybody can get it at the same time. And you categorize me as everybody. Right, Marlon? We're categorized as everybody. We're
Goodness
plebs.
gracious.
Even though,
DJ Kevin.
even though.
Listen, I'm gonna fix that right now.
You better fix that right now.
I'm gonna fix it right now.
Oh, thank you very much, Tasha.
Thank
you take
you
care.
this has been such a pleasure, and may God spare us both to come back and do it another year.
I say amen to that. As we bounce on out of here, I invite you all to look out for members of your community. The people you pass along the way, whether you walk, ride, or drive, take the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, these are members of your community. It's not just the people that live in your development. So look out for one of them today, because you never know who's going to look out for you tomorrow. On behalf of Tasha Simmonds, attorney at law, a family court, and myself, DJ Kevin Stew, we bid you all a good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, we bid you a good night. In the background,
Good night.
yeah, you're still alive, so you get to say it. In the background, I have Joanna Marie working out with Ed Robinson. Thank you to the affiliates. Once again, One Harmony Radio, Island Worldwide, NIE Radio, PEMG TV, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Truly appreciate love, each and every one of you. Take care until we do this all again. Catch you tomorrow. Healthy Love Night, 10 p.m. Eastern, KevinStew.com. Tasha, good night.
Can I feel you're all that matters when I rely on everything you say?
I take care. That's no illusion. Shatter if you dare to say what you should say.
You make it seem I'm so close to my dream, and then suddenly it's all there.
Suddenly, the wheels are in motion, and I'm ready to set any ocean. Suddenly, I don't.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on KevinStew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.